What's up, Impact Challenge Group? I'm here live once again. I had something happen to me today, which I got my first real negative review on my podcast. So I had one before, but it was a friend who accidentally thought number one meant good and five meant bad, and they hit the number one button, so they were saying Tim was number one. But so I got one today, and so that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm probably gonna podcast about it tomorrow too, just because it's just real and it's relevant. So I got my first bad review in iTunes. I got a 3-star. And so as I read the paragraph and was reading the critique, the first thought is kind of defensive, right? You're just like, oh, okay. But I read it, and then I read it again, and then I swallowed it. Didn't feel very good at first, but everything rings true. And the reason why I share this is because it was a reality check for me. If anybody knows, I'm a marketer. I'm in the podcast business. I have a podcast company and service elite clientele, right? And so I know everything about, not everything, but I educate myself all the time on podcasting and everything. So I know how to produce an awesome podcast. But for some reason, I decided for myself personally that convenience was more important. I was just going to grab a mic and I was going to go through my phone and I was just going to podcast this fashion. Well, this girl, she called me out on it. She said my intro sucked because it was a different level and that my mic was too close to my face because she could hear me breathing all the time. She said wonderful content, right? You got awesome content, it's inspirational, it's filled with wisdom, but I can't get over the fact that it sounds like you are running while you're talking. So, here's the fact that I had to face was I know better. First, I know better, and she was absolutely right. And here's the other fact, that somewhere along the way, I decided not to give 100% on my podcast. I decided that 50% was okay. I decided somewhere along the way that convenience was more important than quality. And now I have to face that reality. So I'm like, I don't know how many podcasts in. It seems like 80, 100, I don't know. Right, with the same quality, the same mediocre atmosphere, when I have the right equipment. I'm like standing next to it. I mean, this crap is friggin' expensive as heck. But I decided to go the easy route, the convenient route, and now I'm getting called out on it. So that began to ask the question, where else in my life am I settling for convenience and not 100%? And I could sit and complain, man, I wish my podcast was reaching more people. I wish I had more downloads. I wish this and that and the other thing. But I am getting the results according to my effort. And since I was giving 50%, I was getting 50%. See, a lot of times in all the areas of our life, we expect everything just to work out, right? We expect everything just to conform and just be all peachy keen when we show up with 50%. And I'd be willing to bet that any area that I'm dissatisfied with in my life, I can look at it and see that I am not doing what is required. You ask any marketer out there, any businessman out there, if you want what I got, you're going to have to do what is required. And this baffled me. It's been baffling me for days because I'm like, what is required? What is required? I want to know so I can do it. And everybody out there is hungry for what is required for this $1 million business, for things to just turn out like boom, to go from 6 figures to 7 figures. I want to know. The answer is 100%. We want a tip, we want a trick. There ain't nothing going to happen for us if we're not giving 100%. I remember this story that I heard. I don't remember where I heard it, but a father was going to leave his whole company to his son. He said, son, go over and turn $10,000, come back to me, buy in, and there you go. So his mom overheard the conversation. He walks out into the kitchen and mom goes, don't worry, I got you. She pulled a little $10,000 out of her stash, gives it to the son, gets the $10,000. Later on, he shows it to his dad. He goes, here, Dad, I got the $10,000 for my part in the business. His dad grabbed the $10,000 and threw it in the fireplace. And the son is just sitting there watching it burn like, oh my God. He just threw $10,000 into the flames. And the dad looked at him and said, go earn $10,000 and come back. So the son leaves. He goes, oh man, that was tough. And mama goes, hey, don't worry, I got you. And she pulls another $10,000. So the son goes back, same old thing. Dad throws it in the fire and said, go earn $10,000 and come back. So of course, he goes out, gets himself a job. Actually, he gets multiple jobs. He's hustling, right? He's getting that $10,000, putting in the work. Comes back to his father, walking with pride this time, like, swag. Here you go, Dad, what do you think about that? Boom, pops $10,000 on his daddy's lap. And his dad goes to throw it in the fire, and his son runs and goes, grabs the money, and he starts ripping it out of the flames. And then the dad goes, I can see that you really worked for it this time, and you gave 100%. Now you can have a part of my company. And so it's a different philosophy. It's a way of life. You see, when it comes easy and we don't work hard, when we give 50%, there's a sense of entitlement when things begin to happen our way. We're like, wow, that was easy. That was, yeah. And we get this sense of entitlement. But when we give it our all, 100%, and we get results, we're like, all that work, it was worth it. And we communicate to our hearts and to our minds that we are worthy and deserving of this, and we have put in the work. So, I was going to read from this book, but I guess, where in your life are you giving 50%? Is it your spiritual life? Is it your business and your bank account? Is it your body? Is it your own self, your own mental state and clarity? Is it your relationship with your partner? Is it your relationship with your kids? Is it your habits and your routine? Where in your life are you giving 50% and therefore getting those kind of results? Where? And the commitment today, are you going to give 100%? That's where the results are. Peace.